Want me to opening statement? Just super excited to be involved in March Madness. Unbelievable time of year and really hard to get here. So proud of our team for what they've accomplished this regular season. It's been a remarkable run, and certainly want to continue to play as long as we can so that we can enjoy this. Special group, and certainly want to see special things happen to them. So anxious to get started. Questions for me?
What instructions, you were talking to the team there right after the announcement, what kind of?
Just getting organized, mostly organized. We had a little meeting before the selection show, and talked about a few things, just, reminding them of how special this is and thanking them and complimenting them on all they'd accomplished this year and the way they handle their business, not just, in terms of winning games, but they've been a great group to coach, and I'm proud of them for that, and that this is something they'll remember for a long time and not to take it for granted, and try to be as united and together as we can be, and hopefully play our best basketball moving forward.
Is there anything you learned from last year's deep run that you'll carry into this year's tournament?
I don't know yet. We'll see. Probably more applicable answer is maybe during the games if we win a couple, and then how to handle it. I thought we did a really good job. We had an older group, I think, that was very confident moving into the tournament and just instilling confidence maybe in them, even after the tough loss to Boston College. I think we did a good job as a staff that week of getting them back in a competitive place, and then just instilling confidence in them for the next couple days to where they could play their way into it, and just riding that momentum from there on out.
On that same note, you've mentioned those really tough physical practices that you guys had a
Yeah.
year ago after Boston College. What do you do in this condensed? Does it look anything like that?
Not really. It's different. Obviously, we've got a Thursday game. Last year, we had a Friday. So it's going to be on us quick. We've got to delve into McNeese as much as we can, and we'll certainly meet on that with our team in the morning, and then probably do some shooting, and then come back in the afternoon and have a little bit of a spirited practice on Monday, Tuesday, and then, obviously travel and just kind of get used to Providence in the arena and tighten up a couple things on Wednesday, like a normal practice day, and get ready to play.
I guess just, confidence-wise, just being able to come back to that semifinal game the way you did to make it close.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is still a confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually started the game very well against Louisville. I thought we played pretty well in spurts. Louisville's good defensively, and they bothered us a little bit, and they were very physical. I thought, we were physical defensively. And then we missed some shots. We haven't shot the ball as well in the last 2 weeks. I don't know that our shot quality's a lot different. We didn't play as well against SMU in terms of shot quality. We had better shots against Louisville by our standards, but we didn't make very many. And so we just, we've got to relax, and, we're going to shoot the ball here a bunch the next 3 or 4 days and try to get guys, feeling good about themselves, because at the end of the day, there is a time when this is about shot making. You can run good plays, you can get open shots, but if you don't make them, it can be frustrating. So, but I thought that the tournament was good for us. We found a way to win a hard game against SMU, and, the very competitive physical game against Louisville that, we obviously had the chance with the ball and had a couple of tough calls maybe go against us, non-calls, and, or it might look a little different. So, but our group is good.
I know making the tournament is the most important, but do you like the draw being the 5th seed in this region?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. 6th seed, 5th seed, 4th seed, you're going to play great teams, teams that are used to winning, teams that have good players, really good coaches. I mean, that's what you see in the NCAA tournament. You don't look too far down. You just kind of focus on what, the 4 teams in your little bracket, your pod, and get your staff to get as ready as they can for all those teams. And, in the different styles that you may see in a short amount of time.
Obviously, Will Wade is coach of the other team, Clemson alum. Do you know him at all?
Not well. I know Will a little bit because we've obviously been in coaching for a long time, but he's obviously done a great job everywhere he's been. He's been very successful. VCU, LSU, now McNeese. He's part of the Shaka tree in terms of how they play. Very aggressive and very good defensively and change defenses and excellent offensive rebounding team. So yeah, we know. They've got a bunch of transfers. I know the kid Quadir Copeland from Syracuse transferred there, but they've got a bunch of good high major transfers and good players that are again used to winning. They've been winning there a lot the last couple of years, so they'll come in feeling good about themselves as well.
Anybody that you compare them to that you played this year?
I don't know enough because I haven't studied them. I've only seen them, part probably 5 minutes of a game here and maybe twice. But they're going to be athletic like Florida State. I'm sure there'll be some pressure defense. I haven't really studied them enough yet to delve in to answer that as well as I should.
Right, this is a team that hasn't faced a ton of adversity really throughout the year. Having that loss against Louisville, is there a little bit of an added chip on the shoulder? I know you said you guys are plenty confident.
Yeah.
Just a little adversity going into the postseason. Can that be good for you?
I think losing Dillon Hunter is some adversity. I mean, a guy who's a glue guy for your team and very experienced tournament player, that was adversity. And we've had a couple games that we haven't played as well and lost, and these guys have always rallied, and they've been very mature. They've been very professional in their approach. That's why we've had the year that we have, is they've come to work every day and been very hungry and humble about what they're trying to get done and playing the game the right way, and a lot of good things have happened to them.
Brian, so much of our attention is on the players during Selection Sunday. I've never looked. Where are you looking? What are you taking in that moment?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was standing next to Graham and Kevin White, just right off to the side, and watching the bracket. We know so many people in coaching, and so you're, my guys at Vanderbilt got in, and they're a 9 seed, and that's Mark Byington, who I coached at UNC Wilmington, and it's funny. I remember I was my first year as not even a full-time assistant. I was the restricted earnings coach, and he was my position guy, and he had a speech that was 5 minutes, and I made him give it to me before, and he didn't have enough time. He had about 3 minutes. I'm like, hey, man, we got to do a little better. He was a freshman trying to prepare for speech class, and I was coaching him with speech as well as you could coach somebody back at 24. And so obviously, just watching different teams that the head coaches and friends, and happy for guys that get in the tournament, and excited to see that.
Looking back on the film, Dell and Jake subbing in for Dillon's minutes.
Yeah.
What are your main takeaways from how that went after?
Well, I thought they played a little bit up and down, and that's probably some of it is to be expected. Chauncey got a majority of the minutes again too, and I thought he did some really good things. Our starters got off to a great start and played very well. I thought our team got a little tired. We as a staff have to be more mindful of that and do a better job of managing that as best we can. But I think those guys have done very well most of the time this year. I just maybe weren't quite as good. I thought Jake made some good plays in the second half late. Probably got fouled on one of the times he lost the ball at midcourt, and I was really unhappy with him. But looking back at it, he probably got fouled. But those guys will be ready.
Do you prepare for McNeese? Will you look at more recent games that they played, or you go back and say, let's see what they did against Mississippi State?
Yeah, we'll watch all of it. Yeah, we'll certainly watch their last 5 games or whatever, but we'll go back and watch other high major games and just try to get as much information as we can. Obviously, won't sleep a lot in the next couple days, but it'll be exciting getting ready for them.
Coach, when they come on immediately after picking your part of the bracket and say McNeese is a great upset pick, similar to last year,
Yeah.
a lot of people thought your matchup was a good upset pick. How do you guys use that as
The guys hear it. I mean, I don't have to say a lot with social media and everything out there. These guys are, I mean, they're on their phones a lot more than I am, so they know more about what's going on than I usually do. But, you know, we'll remind them. You know, I'm sure we'll remind them between now and Thursday. Is that going to be the difference in us winning? No. We have to play well. But at the same time, it's, you know, certainly we're aware of all those kinds of things. And but at the end of the day, it's about players making plays in games. And this will be just like all those other games.
Brad, on the Dillon Hunter injury, I imagine it's impossible to find all the answers in that 24-hour turnaround.
Yeah.
SMU to Louisville, how much tinkering and thinking about adjustments and answers potentially?
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about it as a staff, a bunch of what we like, what we don't like, what we see. You know, it's not easy to figure that out, you know, because there's nobody that plays exactly like Dillon does. Jake has some other strengths. Dell has some other strengths. You know, they can go into the lineup. We might have to move Chase into a different spot, you know. With Jake, Chase probably going to have more ball handling, you know. With Dell, that's probably a little more similar, although Dillon sometimes was the point. Sometimes he played off because he was more experienced. He knew pretty much almost three positions, and so he was just a great mesh guy. He could be the one, and you could have Wiggins at the three. He could be the three. You could have Jaden or Chase with the ball, the other guy with the two. Just there's the flexibility, the versatility that Dillon brings, and the competitiveness and confidence. I've always talked about he's a high-energy guy, and I think there's also something to just playing with your brother, right? Like, he's probably the one guy on our team that would challenge Chase. Like, you know, like, hey, man, you can do better. Like, we need you to turn it up a little bit here, you know. So there's some things there, but at the same time, it's going to give more opportunities to these other guys, and, you know, they're going to be excited for that.
Not everybody is picking against you, by the way.
They're good.
Clark Kellogg picked you to play in the national championship game.
Oh, wow.
No pressure.
Okay. I actually recruited one of Clark's sons when I was at Wright State. So known Clark a long time. He's a terrific man and does a great job with CBS. He's good to have with our sport. We need guys like him.
4 ACC teams made the tournament, I guess. Were you kind of surprised by that number, or just kind of what you thought it would be for this season?
Yeah, I mean, I was hopeful that North Carolina would get in. They scheduled very, very challenging non-conference schedule. And, you know, in some ways, I guess it's a sign the committee's trying to reward teams that are doing that. You know, we have tried to up our schedule as much as we could the last couple years, and that's why you saw Memphis, and that's why we flew out to Boise, right? Is to try to find a quad 1 or quad 2 game that you know you can have a good series with, and so I think that's probably part of the messaging there, but certainly glad to see 4. You know, we need to do better than that, though. With 18 teams in our league, we need to be getting 7 and 8 teams. You know, and obviously as a league, we've got to look at that again this offseason, and maybe we need to change scheduling models. Maybe, you know, we have to figure some things out. Certainly we've got to be able to do better in our non-conference games, but there's also got to be high-level commitment from administration and with the rev share and everything that goes with it. I mean, there's reasons why teams aren't as good, and it's you don't have enough money to support your team.
Any more questions for Coach?
Just to put it to bed, do you get an explanation from the locker room at all? Anything?
No, I did get a call from Jim Phillips last night. I was appreciative of him reaching out and apologizing, and you know, I expect that. Jim's been very professional with me throughout my time here, and obviously I've talked to Brian Kersey, who's the officials coordinator, and expressed my displeasure on a few things. But, you know, those things are in the past now. We need to look forward. NCAA Tournament.
Brad, just we've talked about how, like, this is what Victor wanted. He wanted
Yeah.
to go to the NCAA Tournament. Ian shared that he was kind of nervous, honestly, watching it all, because knowing it's the last time
Yeah.
and all of that. Just for your guys to have this moment and see the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, it's the older guys understand it more than the younger guys who clearly don't. you know, it's like Dell Jones being on a team that wins the most games in Clemson history. Like, this isn't the norm every year you're going to win 27 games. And, you know, guys who've been through the wars over the years appreciate it because they do know how hard it is and how hard they've worked. And then as you get older and your role in the program becomes bigger, there's a responsibility that you feel, especially with our recent success, to keep producing for the program. And I think you see that in Chase and Ian, and I'm really proud of those guys for that because that's not easy, you know. And I kind of told them, hey, guys, I told them at the beginning of the year, you guys were a huge part of our Elite Eight team, but there are a lot of people, when they think of the Elite Eight, they think of P.J. Hall first, right? Like, it's just – and P.J. earned that from – I mean, he gave us 4 great years of, you know, playing hurt a lot and competitive spirit and will to win and fighting for our program. And now as seniors, you and Chase, this will be kind of your legacy team. And those 2 damn guys have left a hell of a legacy, 27 wins. And obviously they want to do what we did in the tournament last year because of how fun it was. I mean, those are lifelong memories that team had, and they'd like to do it with these guys too.
Brad, I know you don't like to spend a ton of time talking about yourself, but I remember you saying last year you wanted to raise the floor and the ceiling of Clemson basketball. You guys have now gone to back-to-back tournaments for the first time in 15 years. Just the success and continuing to build this program.
Yeah, I'm proud of what we've done, you know, not just the last couple of years, but really ever since the facility, you know, has been improved. You know, Joe Swan back then, you know, made a heck of a commitment to us. And obviously Ipte, Aaron Dunham, and me working our tails off for 7-8 years just trying to build our basketball support group as much as we could to really convince the administration that we could do things like courtside seating and Coliseum clubs and courtside clubs and generate revenue. People would do it to help support the facility improvements that we needed. And certainly those facility of improvements have resulted in, you know, better basketball and more consistency and better players. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of all those things because it's like I've always said, there's been a lot more work behind the scenes than just on the practice court and or the recruiting trail. And it takes all of that to be successful. I mean, there's a reason why they make so many coaching changes and all that. Everybody, you know, the demand for success in basketball is really high. Everybody thinks that in basketball you can do it very quickly, and it's a lot more difficult than people realize. You know, unfortunately, our league the last couple of years, we're finding that out. And so I'm extremely grateful for the recent success in the tournaments and for the administrative support and the hard work we put in over the years to get to this point. All good.
Thanks, Brad.
I need to get to work.